Who loses when countries grow? State expansion, AP World History Topic 6.2. State power shift from 1750 to 1900. The period had massive changes in global state power, with significant shifts in colonial control and territorial expansion. Let's look deeper into these transformations to provide some context and bridge the specifics with some broader implications. Colonial control, from non-state to state entities. Congo. Initially, the Congo was personally owned by King Leopold II of Belgium, who exploited it for rubber and ivory, leading to widespread human rights abuses and slavery. In response to international outrage, the Belgian government took direct control in 1908, turning it into a formal colony. It didn't make it independent. Indonesia and Southeast Asia. The Dutch East India Company, the wealthiest corporation ever, initially controlled these regions. Due to financial troubles and mismanagement, the Dutch government took over in the early 1800s, imposing direct colonial rule. It didn't make them free either. Expansion of European states, the US and Japan. Europe, US, and Japan. These powers expanded aggressively into Asia and the Pacific, marking the decline of older colonial empires like Spain and Portugal. For instance, the US colonized the Philippines after the Spanish-American War, in spite of a lot of opposition, and Japan began its imperial expansion with the annexation of the Ryukyu Islands in 1879. Warfare and diplomacy in Africa. European powers used a mix of military force and diplomatic agreements to carve up Africa. Britain focused on West Africa, notably establishing control over Nigeria through both military conquest and treaties with local rulers. Belgium, King Leopold II's control of the Congo was notorious for its brutality and slavery, leading to millions of deaths. France expanded in West Africa, establishing colonies like Senegal and Ivory Coast, often using military force against resistant kingdoms. Settler colonies. New Zealand. Established as a settler colony where the colonizers want to replace the society of the colonized by Britain in 1840 with the Treaty of Waitangi, it involved the settlement of Europeans and the displacement and marginalization of the Maori people. The Maori resisted for almost 30 years and held strong to their identity as a people. Expansion by the United States, Russia, and Japan. These nations expanded their territories through military conquests and negotiations. The United States acquired territories like Alaska, purchased from Russia in 1867, and Hawaii, annexed in 1898. Russia expanded eastward into Siberia and Central Asia, incorporating diverse ethnic groups and establishing a vast empire after the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Japan, apart from the Ryukyu Islands, Japan also took control of Taiwan after the First Sino-Japanese War in 1894 and 1895. Key points for understanding. Transition from corporate to government control. A shift from exploitative private enterprises to direct state colonization. It didn't make any of the colonies free, though. Rise and fall of colonial powers. The period saw the emergence of new colonial powers like the US and Japan, and decline of traditional ones like Spain and the Dutch. Diplomacy and force in expansion. European powers often combined military might with diplomatic treaties to expand and consolidate their empires. Cultural and social impacts. These territorial expansions led to significant cultural and social changes, including displacement of indigenous populations and the establishment of new social hierarchies. You can see this all as a setup to war in the future. They thought of it as a path to prevent war. Do you think state expansion delayed World War I or sped it up? Tell us in the comments. Like the video and subscribe for more.